Okay. Let me just see if Danielle is on there. Okay, I'm just going to turn off video. Feel free to turn off video for the next 2 minutes.
Okay, that sounds good.
Hi, everyone. Is everyone joining? Looks like I see people on here. Feel free to type in the chat if you can hear me okay. I'm just going to stop sharing and come on camera for a bit. Hi, looks like we've got 5 attendees. We're just waiting for people to join. Okay, perfect. Danielle can hear me. Travis can hear me. Hi, great to meet you, everyone. We're really excited to get started and share some marketing advice for law firms. So yeah, thanks so much for joining. I think we're just waiting for a few more people to get on. We got 1 minute to go. I see Ken on the line. Hello, Ken. Yeah, just feel free to type in the chat. And this is Kate Webb, my colleague here from Formstack. Kate, can we hear you? Just want to do a quick mic check.
So it's nice to meet everybody.
Okay, perfect. Well, if you're on the line, feel free to type in and just say where you're joining from today. We're all here I'm in Richmond Hill, a Toronto area for most of our team. It's great to see everyone. And just getting on to 11 o'clock. Danielle, can you hear? Oh, hi, Kate's here from Denver. Awesome. And Travis from St. John's, Newfoundland. Hi, Travis. Love our Atlantic Canada followers here. And yeah, awesome getting people from across North America today. So I'm going to jump right in here and get started. We have a lot to cover, and we're hoping to also be mindful of your time and get you guys out of here by, I think, hoping for 12:15 to 12:30 and give you all the content and valuable info that you need to get started. I'm going to try to make this interactive as I go, so I'll probably be asking you lots of questions in the chat, so feel free to type in anytime, and we're also going to take a few questions as we go. We'll see how the time is. If Danielle, if you can be my timekeeper today, Danielle and Leah on our team, and let me know if we end up going over time, that would be great. But everyone can hear me okay? Just type a yes in the chat if your audio is good. Let's see any yeses. Okay. And participants, Ken, Leah, Melissa, your audio's good. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to dive right in here. And let's see if I can share my screen. You guys see my screen okay there? Okay, perfect. So jumping right in here, I'm Adina from LegalWerx Marketing and Napkin Marketing, and my colleague here is joining me, Kate Webb from Formstack. And today we're going to be talking about law firm digital marketing and lead generation. LegalWerx specializes in law firm marketing. We're a digital marketing agency for law firms, and we're going to be talking about how we typically approach law firm marketing and some of the tips and tricks that we want to share with lawyers and attorneys across the US and Canada, and what's working for us. And I feel very fortunate to have one of our long-term legal clients on the line as well with Ken. And Ken, if you're not feeling shy, I might feel free to chime in with your experiences, and we're going to share a few stories from you as well. So diving right in here, here's what we'll be covering today. And again, like, feel free to jump in the chat if you have any questions. So we're going to be talking about LegalWerx and our parent company, Napkin Marketing, and our approach to law firm marketing, what we've been doing that's been really successful for our clients. SEO strategies for 2021, although the latter half of 2021. But of course, the first half we got impacted by COVID. So I think second half we should be raring to go. How we create lead generating law firm websites. So we really do, we got our roots as Napkin Marketing, specializing in web design, and we figured out there's about 8 or 9 factors in a law firm website that really ensures that it is a lead generating site and makes a site a lead generator. So I want to make sure that you guys know about this and have those features baked into your websites. Next thing, we're going to be talking about the 6 types of lead magnets that law firms are using to generate leads. And I'll be telling you, in case you don't know what a lead magnet is, I will be covering that. And we're talking about how to automate your appointment bookings. And Kate is going to be covering how online contact forms, making them work better for you, optimizing your online forms. That's her specialty. And also talking about email marketing. So one of our promises in this webinar, and one of the things I know law firms struggle with, is you have an engagement, you've got a client engagement, you work with a client on their particular need at the time, whether it's a contract, whether it's a case, whether it's a lawsuit, and the situation wraps up, you're able to successfully help them, hopefully. But then you guys go your separate ways, or you might have an initial consultation with someone, and for some reason they drift off, you might not hear from them again. We're going to be talking about how email marketing can help bring those people back and how you can re-engage with those lost leads. And finally, kind of how we do with this, how we can help with our full circle digital marketing system and helping implement these things for you and giving you some resources to help do all of that. So diving right in, one thing, just my little housekeeping tip is when you're doing this, I do suggest, we're all so distracted nowadays, turning off your cell phone, or my latest gadget app on my cell phone is an app called Forest, and it's all about helping you focus. So it's this thing where it puts like a little tree on your screensaver of your phone, and you're supposed to put a timer. So you're going to like, hey, I'm going to focus for the next 45 minutes. And as the 45 minutes go on, your tree grows. But if you start switching to another app, like you check your text messages, start checking Facebook, your tree will die. So that's my little tip today, is download that Forest app. It's going to change your life to help you focus more on what you need to do. Turn off Facebook. And if you are a law firm owner and you're serious about getting better results in the second half of 2021, I really think that the next 60 to 90 minutes will change your life in terms of the type of strategies that you're going to learn from what we're implementing for our clients. And I do have a few goodies. If you stick around till the end, Danielle will put these in the chat, Danielle or Leah, if you can have the links ready. So we always like to give some takeaways for our audience so that they can, even if they don't work with us to implement all of the stuff they learn, they still have some resources to get themselves started. So we have a law firm digital marketing checklist with a lot of the strategies that we implement, all documented in the checklist. And we also have the most commonly searched law firm keywords for all different law practice categories. So commonly searched keywords for divorce law, criminal law, real estate. What else do we have, Leah? I think, Leah, you're the one who put this together. So feel free to put in the chat in the type all the different categories you cover in there. So we'll have these available for you at the end of the session. So I want to start off because I don't want to be the only one talking here, and I really want to make sure this addresses your needs in the session. Want to open it up to you guys if you are a lawyer, if you're a law firm owner, law firm marketer. Feel free to share, like, what's the hardest part about your marketing your law firm online. Feel free to type in the chat. I'll give you a couple minutes. Have some people can type in the chat right now. I know I have had participants say in the past, just lack of time. SEO is too complex. There's the cost. So, if I don't see anybody. If people are still shy this morning, I don't see people typing in here. Standing out in a crowded market, absolutely. Depending on your practice category, it's very hard to compete, when especially, with a small firm against big firms, targeting clients in your specific practice area. Definitely, Travis. If you don't mind typing out, I'm curious as to what your practice area is. But definitely, one thing that I think is a bane to the existence of most lawyers is you want to be able to offer free consultations, but you also want to avoid the tire kickers who might be going to 3 free consultations with other lawyers. So you want to attract those specific clients who need your expertise, but also avoid the time wasters. So that's kind of some of what we'll be teaching you today. So just a little bit about our expertise. These are a couple of the websites that for the law clients that we work with. We've been helping law firms since 2015, and we help hundreds of other companies too in many other categories as napkin marketing. So everything from copyright law to estate planning to family law. We've worked with many, many different practice areas. And napkin marketing is obviously not just me. I've got an amazing team behind me, starting with Danielle and Clinton, the account managers. We've also got web developers on our team, PPC managers, graphic designers. So we've got an entire team kind of able to implement. So we don't just give advice, we're also able to implement and put together a full program for you, from Google Ads to actually developing your website, to be a lead generating website, to implementing email marketing programs and SEO. And who am I and why should you care what I say? I've actually been working in digital marketing since 1999. Feels super old, super old saying that. Started off in the .com boom, and I worked in digital marketing for Rogers and for Yahoo as a marketing manager in corporate marketing and tech for about 15 years before starting napkin marketing. And napkin marketing started up in 2010, so we've been around for over 10 years, and we just founded LEGALWerx officially last year, serving lawyers specifically. And one of the things that makes us stand out is we're a specialist in several areas that related to digital marketing. So Google Ads certified, not too many agencies that are actually Google Ads certified, MailChimp certified, and Formstack partner, and having worked for many Fortune 500 companies. So our specialty is really taking the discipline and the quality that we would bring as a marketer for Fortune 500 company and bringing it to small firms and small businesses, because we feel they deserve the same level of quality and detail support, detail orientation. And right now we're specializing in law firms and also professional services. So, and I just want to turn it over to Kate for a second, if you want to tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So hi, everybody. I'm Kate. I am an account executive here at Formstack, and I typically have specialized in the vertical of law firms. So worked with quite a few different law firms in throughout the country and I guess world now. And so helping just to kind of get things more automated, helping some of the processes there like contract generation, contact forms, things like that, and just helping automate the process, which a lot of that when trying to collect signatures and things like that can be very, very long processes. And so just trying to get that updated. So at Formstack, we are a one-stop shop platform. We do have a form builder, we do have a document generation tool, and then we also do e-signature. So within our platform, we'll kind of go through that a little bit later, but we have the ability to basically utilize all of those services, ones that work best for you, to kind of get together and basically make a use case that's specific for you and your law firm. So we are all about digitizing processes and trying to make your life a lot easier.
Perfect. And Kate's going to be talking more specifically about that in next session. And this scary looking diagram, which I'll break down in a second, is basically our approach to law firm marketing. We call it full circle digital marketing for law firms. And it's basically a 360-degree client acquisition system. So we start with strategy, putting together a marketing plan and roadmap for your website and for your practice at the very beginning of every project. And these are the different aspects of your marketing that we work on. So it's very comprehensive, everything from making sure your website is optimized to generate leads, to the actual design of the site, the navigation of the site, your organic SEO. So I'm talking about the foundational SEO in your website. So do you have the right keywords baked into your website? Do you have the right page structures? Do you have backlinks coming back to your website? Are you showing up in local search? So I'm talking about the Google search. So if you want to show up for, real estate lawyer, St. John's, or, I'm going to pick on Ken because you're just come to mind because you're here, disability, estate planning in Ottawa. So making sure that you're actually showing up for local search and showing up for your practice area. We also make sure we have a reportings and analytics dashboard to keep track of your traffic. So you really start to understand and be aware of the numbers in terms of how many visitors you're getting to your site every month, how many leads are coming out of that, what's your conversion rate. Reviews and reputations is another area that we're now getting focused on for our clients. So this is very, very important for law firms, is having those positive Google reviews. And when you do get negative reviews, knowing how to deal with them. So this is something we're helping law firms with right now. Google Ads. So this session won't focus too much on Google Ads, but we do work on Google Ads as well as Facebook ads to help drive leads to your site. Retargeting, I'll cover a little bit in this session as well, and that involves putting together ad campaigns. So once someone's visited your site, they start seeing ads to drive them back to your site. Landing pages. So landing pages and lead magnets kind of go together, and also that goes with forms are an important part of landing pages. So we'll definitely be covering that, and email marketing and social media. So when you're working with us, and if you want to get into a little more of the details of what this is, kind of what breaks down in this 12-point system and what we include in these. And we actually work with clients based on 3 different packages, which I could tell you a little bit more about later. But that's our foundation that I'll be kind of referring back to for all the strategies we talk about. Hope that makes sense. Maybe give me a yes in the comments if I haven't lost you yet with that giant circle diagram. And really we focus on getting the web marketing right. So I'm really excited to have Ken on the line. We've been working with Ken for a long time, and kind of even before we had a name for the full circle marketing system, we've focused on working with him on his websites, putting in lead magnets on his site to help him generate leads, and even things like with his, because this is we're really focusing on online forms with this session, turning online forms are kind of the often ignored part of every website. People kind of stick them on there, but online forms can really be optimized, and with Ken, we've worked really closely to make his online forms work better for him by doing things like adding a video on the top of a form so that people are more likely to fill it out. They know why this form is being requested by the law firm. And Ken, I'm just sharing a little more here, just kind of a before and after when we worked on your website, and we were able to help drive results for him and helping him get to #1 on Google for his category. For his niche, and increasing his email subscribers by over 700%, I think, since we got started, really automating his lead flow. And I'm proud to say that I think thank you so much for the good comments, Ken, that I think he's become an authority in his specialty area, which is Henson trusts and disability estate planning. And I'm really glad that we were able to bring your expertise forward. It's not, we just do this Google stuff. You're the one with the expertise, and that's what, makes us proud to do the work we do, because we help elevate and bring that legal expertise to the forefront and help create authority for what you know. And I hope you're not going to be super embarrassed to say, Ken, but Ken is not one of our youngest clients. We've got a lot of 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds who are doing startups, but he's one of the most forward-thinking clients in terms of adopting technology, on-ramping technology for his law firm and really making it work for him. And I have a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds that are kind of not as forward-thinking when it comes to, bringing on leading edge marketing strategy to grow their firms. So I just want to applaud you for that. And we also work with different categories of lawyers. This is another case study for us for Shift Law. They're a copyright firm that we've worked with, also gotten them to page 1 for Trademark Lawyer Toronto. Again, another very competitive area. And one of the ways we've done that is, again, making his firm a lead generator. One of the ways we've done that is optimizing the forms, making the forms really work as part of that website. And this is just kind of a sneak peek. So when you go to the law firm website, you can, when you click the Let's Connect or the Get Started, you actually get a pop-up contact form. And it quickly, because people get lost on websites sometimes, and sometimes you got to get that form in front of them and make sure that it's just asking them quickly, what's your issue, getting their contact info, and most importantly, having that checkbox so that you have permission to contact them. And that's Canadian anti-spam law legislation warranted, right? Because we must make sure that our forms act as are valid for anti-spam laws, which say that you have to get that express consent as part of to email people in the future. So this form's not only just a contact form and a lead generator, but it's also part of his CASL compliance, and that's something we recommend for any forms we put on any website, is making sure you have that permission statement on there that they can check off, so that you have that express consent to continue to email market to them for going forward. Another thing I'll talk about doing is part of, for our clients, is using videos. Videos don't have to be fancy. You don't have to look like Tom Cruise or I don't know, Meghan Markle. Why is she the first one I just thought of? But we have clients who shot little welcome videos about their law firm on their iPhones, and they've just seen tremendous improvements on form completion just based on putting a video on a contact page. People are looking for your legal expertise, but they're also looking to hire you as their personal advisor. And I think, so many lawyers I talk to tell me that, hey, in invisible ink on their business card, it also says shrink or psychologist or, personal counselor. And I think, unless you're dealing with purely business matters, and even with business matters, I'm sure you get people venting to you on a personal level. So that's something I really encourage lawyers, is take off your suit and get personal. And when you make a video, even if you're just talking about your practice area or talking about, your expertise, that just makes it a little more personal. The idea is getting your website to connect with people on a human level. So, with the Shift case study, some of the results we've seen is obviously getting him to #1 on Google organically for his practice area. And I don't know if Clinton's on the line here, might pick on him because you are. So Clinton, can I pick on you to talk a little bit about what your accomplishments were with Shift?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So, my name is I'm Clinton here. I'm an account manager with Napkin. I do a lot of web development, SEO, PPC projects for all our clients. So what we did for Shift was, so basically the client's ask was, he's a copyright lawyer, he's a trademark lawyer. He wanted to get his ranking of his website up to page 1 on Google. So what I did is, we do a lot of these writing these articles, and these go as backlinks, which link back to the client site. So these articles go on really high domain authority websites. So it just tells Google that, this high domain authority website is linking back to this site. So it gives these sites a higher ranking. So over time, over a period of months, we did that. We did a lot of changes to his Google My Business listing. That's something that should not be ignored, because that's one thing that your customers always look at. They look at your ratings. They look at like if you change your title, your description, that's something that really matters. So over a period of time, making all these changes, we got him to rank on page 1 for copyright lawyer and for a trademark lawyer. So if you see like copyright lawyer, trademark lawyer, he is now on page 1. So, that's something that
And
we
we're
did
also
for.
working on his website to help, make that a higher converting website, working on the leads and forms, working on the lead forms. And, that's helped also in automating his appointments system. So we'll be talking more about that in that section as well.
Yeah.
So, just looking back on those 2 case studies alone, they're really tapped into the full circle digital marketing system. We're focused on ranking them on search engines for their law related keywords in their service area, and making their website really convert with visitors, so they don't just come to the site, absorb the information, but really converting them into callers, into appointment requesters, and into clients. right? And leveraging lead magnets and content marketing. And for these lawyers, also taking advantage of pay-per-click, which is the Google advertising or Facebook advertising. So, what we found with a lot of, law firms that we talk to before working with us is their marketing tends to look like this. It's kind of like throwing spaghetti at a wall, seeing what sticks. Okay, today we're going to try Facebook advertising. Today we're trying to try some Google advertising. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, we're going to, Facebook doesn't work for me. I tried that. So it's just kind of randomly trying different things without having a full holistic system behind it. And where we want to go when we implement the full circle marketing is, this kind of looks like Maslow's hierarchy here, but really taking them from what I have at the bottom of the pyramid, which I call hope and prayer marketing, which is like, I hope I get some new clients, to maybe doing some spaghetti on the wall, to taking them to the point where their marketing is really getting them leads in a predictable way. And really that's about, building freedom for yourself as not just as a lawyer, but as a business person, so that you can focus on what you do best, which is the legal advice, the litigation, and not worry about having to do all this stuff to help clients come in, because your clients are coming in on demand in a predictable fashion. So that's kind of where our vision for where we want to take clients. So does that make sense, everybody? Give me a yes in the comments if you're with me so far. I hope people are with me so far. I know sometimes there's like a little delay in the comments. If this is making no sense, give me like, or 1 to 10. Okay, awesome. Travis, you're my man here. So I'm gonna go right into search engine optimization, and I really want to give you guys an overview of how this works. So when we go to search engine, before we start looking at Google and all of that, might go into Google here. Search engine optimization really comes down to what are the keywords you want to rank for. So, for example, if you want to rank for real estate lawyer Toronto, this is the trend map of how many searches there are, since 2003. So there might be like, 5,000 searches a month for real estate lawyer Toronto. And there's all kinds of real estate lawyers in Toronto, all vying to be found on Google when someone searches for that search term. So what we look at is, we start off when we're working with our clients is making a list and really determining and honing in on what keywords are related to your law firm. What keywords do you want to be found for? So let's say we're working with a real estate lawyer. Those keywords might be real estate lawyer near me. And we can look up with our tools of what's the search volume for all the different keywords they might want to be found under. Now, different keywords will cost differently, and the cost per click is how much it costs if you were advertising on Google for every time someone clicked on that ad. So if you were advertising on Google and had a real estate lawyer ad, it would cost you $10 a click if someone searched on real estate lawyer near me and you were advertising on Google. And this kind of tells you how competitive these keywords are. So for example, real estate lawyer near me or real estate lawyer North York, which is a neighborhood in Toronto, they're costing about $11.21 a keyword, a click. Real estate lawyer near me is a very high volume keyword, but one way you can also be found on Google is coming up for low volume keywords, like for example, real estate litigator Toronto, not as much competition on that, but that might be a very high value keyword as well. So the first step is figuring out what are the keywords you want to be found for in your law practice, and what are the high volume keywords? What are the keywords in your, for your target market? How much search volume is for keywords? So how many searches are there for those certain keywords? So that's kind of the first exercise we go through, is determining your keywords. and also looking at the competition and what they search for. So, there's regular keywords, and then what there's called the long tail keywords, which is those really super specific keywords that might not get a lot of searches, but those might be high value searches. For example, a long tail is residential real estate lawyers Toronto, and you can see there's only like 20 searches a month on this in the GTA, but it's $13 a click. It costs even more than just real estate lawyers. Well, cheap real estate lawyers Toronto only costs $6.98. But I think we saw in the previous slide, real estate lawyers near me was $10.32. Residential real estate lawyers Toronto, super specific, is $13.41. Because if someone's getting that specific, the idea behind the Google algorithm is that their search intent is higher. So there might be, even though there's not a lot of people searching for it, there's probably several real estate law firms bidding on that keyword, and that drives the price up. So things to think about when you think about the keywords you want to rank for, not just like words like, divorce lawyer, real estate lawyer, copyright lawyer. Those are kind of the obvious ones. But nowadays, when people search on Google, they're not just searching for words, they're actually asking Google questions, especially, with the voice automation and the AI built into our phones nowadays. Like I don't know how many times a day I do this, and especially my kids do this, is they ask Google questions on the Google, the voice at home, or they ask Siri questions like, hey Siri, how much does it cost to get into Wonderland today? Hey Siri, is Sobeys open? Like, hey Siri, can I sue an insurance company? People are doing this and they are using Google in this way, and you got to be like super aware of that. So can I sue an insurance company is actually a keyword, and thinking about your keywords in terms of the typical questions that clients may ask. And we help a lot with this research and coming up with those typical questions because we've got some of the software to do that. But for example, can I search an insurance company has 90 monthly searches? And you gotta I know with my lawyer clients, they're always, the brass ring of the type of clients they want to get a lot of times is the litigation clients. So someone who's searching on, can I sue an insurance company, is probably like highly likely to be a litigation type client. And that would be like that would be a great client to have. So thinking about, keywords in terms of questions. And again, we have that suggested keyword list for your different categories at the end of the session, but this is kind of the way we structure some of our keyword research. So for example, for divorce law, it could be like Toronto divorce, Toronto custody rights, Toronto separation agreements, and not just Toronto, but thinking about your city and all the different little sub neighborhoods, what people would search on, and breaking down all the different types of questions or different categories that people might ask about, right? So again, keywords are key, right? So then when it comes to okay, your keywords, but what are the different ways you would show up on Google for those keywords? So the main ways you'd show up is you'd either show up at a paid placement, which is Google Ads, or if you're in the US, a new thing they have is Google Screened, and I think they'll be launching this in Canada eventually, maybe next year. But basically what I have in green is where you'd show up if you're actually spending money on advertising on Google. And what I have in yellow, and it's also these and these, is where you could show up if you're doing organic. And a lot of people think because it's organic, it's free, but you also, typically organic is not free anymore because you usually have to pay an expert, pay an SEO firm, pay an agency like ours to help you get that organic ranking, right? So just because one's called paid, one's called organic, I just don't think that, organic is necessarily free. So let's break down how someone, we know how someone gets their paid listing. They have to, first of all, know to get it, but they can start a Google advertising program, or in the US, you can get into Google Screened or open Google Ads. This is also a Google ad. Google Screened is really cool, and I hope it comes to Canada, but if you are in the US, what it does is it gives you, Google actually screens lawyers, and not just lawyers, but other professionals. They've got roofers, they've got plumbers, but basically they want to make sure that whoever's advertising is a bona fide in their field, is certified. So to get into the Google Screened advertising row, you not only pay to advertise, but you also have to submit, like, your bar exam, certification. You have to show your professional credentials, and that you're actually located in that city, because what this is it shows the public who's searching that you genuinely are a real estate lawyer. Because they had a lot of people kind of scamming or misrepresenting themselves. So this is something to keep an eye on for Google Screen, and this is what it looks like when it opens up. So you get onto the Google Screen page. Again, this is a great way to kind of build authority in your category. And then for organic, one thing we recommend, there's a couple places where you can get into the organic listings. Let's start with this is the top half of Google. The most important way that you want to show up organically is getting into what we call the top 3. So these are the top 3 results that show under the Google map on the Google homepage. And you can see, the law firms here. We did a search on real estate lawyer Miami. There's 3 law firms showing up organically under the Google My Business, including this one, the law office of Yana Minota. So I thought we'd take a closer look at Yana's firm and see why she might be showing up organically. I think we'll skip ahead here. So taking a look at Yana's firm, we see that, in Miami, we know that it's probably a very, very competitive market, especially for real estate. We do see that she's got 13 Google reviews. So having Google reviews, we have her photo, her Google My Business listing is quite optimized. She's got her photo on here. She's got pictures of her office. She's actively gathering reviews. Now, and when we look at the other people who are showing up for their Google My Business, there's someone here that's showing up in the top 5, Feinstein Real Estate, and they have no reviews. So what we've discovered when doing, optimizing Google My Business pages is if you have the name, of your legal category as part of your Google My Business name here, that helps promote you in the Google search and in Google My Business rankings. So for example, this Feinstein firm, I was kind of surprised to see them listed here because they've got 0 reviews, but they're called Feinstein Real Estate Litigation and Business Law, super specific. Now, this doesn't even have to be like your official business name that you're incorporated under. It could just be what you're calling yourself on Google. Because I think, Clinton, feel free to chime in, but I think like with Shift Law, we kind of tweaked his name on the Google My Business listing. So it had the word copyright
and
lawyer,
trademark.
right?
Yeah.
So make sure that your Google My Business listing, like this one, Law Mandel, real estate and probate attorney, again, super specific, right? Only got 2 Google reviews, but he's showing up here in the top 3. Even though right under 2 guys who are advertising, right? These are both advertising law firms, and he's got first place organic listing with his measly 2 reviews because he's got real estate and probate in his business name. That's my theory. So looking at your Google My Business listing and optimizing that is very important for showing up for organic results. Again, if you look lower down on that page, see who else is showing for organic results. You see that they have the keywords as part of their Google search results listing, right? So they're showing up, you know, when Google wants to show the law firms that are the most relevant. So to Google, relevance means you have the keywords in your site that match the keywords of the person searching. So if I'm searching for real estate lawyers Miami, I'm going to be shown websites that have the words real estate lawyers in Miami. Like this one, the Marrero law firm has in the text of their site, which is being pulled into Google here, they have real estate lawyers Miami. You know, Perazzo law firm here has real estate titles and short sales, Miami-Dade County. So again, having these keywords on your site, and we can see, someone can look up the Marrero law firm here. So if we look them up and see why are they number one here, you can see first of all, they've got right on their homepage, you know, serving Coral Gables, Miami. I'm pretty sure if I started reading this, they would have, you know, real estate lawyer, best attorneys in Miami. They have Florida attorneys in Miami. They have real estate lawyers Miami in their site text. Not only in their site text, but if I looked, you know, and this is kind of a trick of the trade here, but if I looked in their code, there's parts of the code that are called the meta tags and the meta descriptions. And let me see if I can find one to show you. Not that you'd ever want to look. But it's going to take me time to find this. But basically in the code of the site, and this is part of the way you know, the website is built, you got to make sure that within the site code, those tags, those words like real estate lawyer Miami are here in the code as well, because that's what Google picks up on as well. Of course, I found the one site that it's like the code is so hidden I can't even find it. This is what happens when I try to improvise. But let's go back to presentation here. So showing up in organic is a matter of having the content on your site. So and I'll talk a little more about that, or having an ad that you bought to show up on the homepage. And often this is a shortcut because getting to the organic placement can take many months sometimes. Making sure that you build that content in your site, sometimes rewriting the site, building in certain pages that have a page called Real Estate Lawyer Miami on your site, and versus placing an ad that you can be up and running, you know, within a few days. So a lot of times, you know, if we have law firms who are looking for quicker results, we do recommend doing Google AdWords. And I talked about Google My Business. So what do I mean by having the right content on your site? So this is an example of this is a law firm called Diamond and Diamond. And they are a personal injury law firm. So what I found when looking through their site is they're very well optimized. They have, let me see if I can, easier to show you on the actual site, but I'm going to lose my thing here. Diamond and Diamond. So first of all, you can see I just clicked on their Google ad, probably cost them, you know, $10 or something. So they are advertising on Google, but they're doing a good mix of organic as well as paid advertising. So what I find when I look on their site is they have a page for every type of category of personal injury, from dog bites to car accident to long-term disability to slip and fall. So what this does is, the reason why they have this is not only to give the information, and you might think like they're giving almost too much information. They want to be found. Google rewards you when you have a page that's actually related to someone's search. So if someone's searching for slip and fall lawyer and you have a page like this that shows slip and fall in the actual URL, then that's going to be seen as more relevant by Google. You know, if someone is searching for brain injury lawyer, you have the words brain injury lawyer Toronto right in there. This is done very intentionally. They have brain injury lawyer here. They have brain injury lawyer in the URL. They have probably brain injury lawyer in the site code. So it's built in everywhere to kind of be a Google magnet. The other thing is even, let me see. I bet you even the images, see even the image file names, this JPEG with the guy with the headcast is called brain injury lawyer. Every little part of this website is optimized for keywords, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about when we're doing SEO. The other thing they optimize for is location. So they have a page actually for almost every diamond and diamond location. And a lot of times we find, you know, with the bigger law firms, they'll rent a space in an office somewhere that, you know, might not be even staffed half the time, just so they can list a location, right? So for example, if someone's searching for a personal injury lawyer in Alberta or Edmonton, there is a page for that. So they've got a page for every city, they've got a page for every category, and it's all for SEO. So that could be part of, here, let me go back to page. You know, that's all kind of 5 things that we recommend for ranking for your keywords is, first of all, knowing your keywords and then putting your keywords, baking them everywhere throughout your website. In your title tag, which is that site code, and H1 tag, which is site code, and in your actual copy of your website, the text and the wording on your website, and making the city and service part of the URL. And having unique content for every page. So I'll be talking more about that, again, kind of showcasing how Ken does this a little bit with, you know, the different practice areas that he practices, you know, and having all of these specific categories like caregiver tax credit, special needs estate planning, because these are all different things people search on, not just relying on, you know, the broad practice area words. Again, going back to, like, I think this is another personal injury example, you could see all these super, super specific words. And because we've got some software for keyword research, you know, you could also do this on your own. There's some great tools out there, but, you know, really brainstorming down to, you know, looking back on your old cases, seeing what people ask about. And this is blogging. Blogging is also very important for this, having the right content on your site. So that's another way to talk about specific keywords on your site. So this is a divorce or a family law practice that I looked at, and they have very, very specific blog posts. And oh, I think you will show them the meta tags later, guys. I think my team's trying to show me how to do meta tags, but I'm like, okay, I'm not going to figure that. Send me a Dropbox link so I can just open it versus having to download something. So just send me a Dropbox link to show later. But as you can see in this family law blog, they talk about educator and children of divorce, choosing a child for school. So all the different, like, little issues that you would think that come up in the areas of divorce law. Writing a blog post is a great way to get on Google's radar. Oops. And why do we do this? This crazy diagram kind of shows you why. Because Google's basically, it's not just about the content of your site, but I think Clinton started telling me about talking about backlinks. Having listings on, there's many business directories from, I think we all know Yellow Pages. We looked at Google My Business. There's also, you know, having a Twitter page, having a Facebook page. getting onto all the business listings, as well as there's a lot of legal listings. So why do we do this? And again, no one lawyer can do this alone. That's why, you know, people hire us to systematically build backlinks and directory listings for us. The reason we do this is Google not only judges you on the relevance of whether you have the keywords on your website, but also whether other websites are referring back to you. So the way their logic works is, you know, they think, okay, if, you know, if many other websites are referring back to this lawyer, you know, with the keywords real estate lawyer, this must mean it's a legitimate business. And the more websites you have linking back to you, especially if they are high quality website. For example, if, you know, a newspaper website, to Toronto Star, wrote an article about you and talked about, you know, real estate lawyer John Smith or Jane Smith, and, you know, that would become a very high authority. Google also judges the authority of the backlinks. So a regular newspaper, general media would be a high authority. It's called domain authority, be a high DA backlink. You know, random, you know, website from Russia, you know, probably doesn't have high domain authority. So the idea is to get onto legitimate business directories, which have a high DA, high domain authority, and that also helps your Google ranking. So these are just some examples of some of the directories we get our clients on that are legal directory websites. Probably haven't heard of most of them, but getting onto these legal directories is also very important in your SEO. Another kind of little known tool with SEO is there's a whole bunch of websites like Quora, Reddit, which is more of a discussion board, social media tool, but where people can ask questions. So for example, Quora, people can ask general questions and business questions. So if you can be on there answering questions and linking back to your site, then that also gives a signal to Google that, hey, Quora is a high domain website, high domain authority website. They are referencing this law firm. Let's rank that law firm a little bit higher, and again, more likely to show up on the home page. So this is one of the ways that another little secret strategy that can help. Again, also getting more positive Google reviews. So a lot of lawyers are kind of shy to get the Google reviews. So basically, we can help you kind of generate a strategy, create a strategy to get more Google reviews. Again, you know, you see a lot of Google reviews nowadays, even for things that you think are very confidential, like divorce law, because people just can leave you a review saying that you were very professional, that you listened to what their needs were. And, you know, if you can be oftentimes asking for a Google review or giving people, you know, as a thank you at the end of their case, you know, as part of the, hey, thanks for working with us, we really appreciated you. If you had a great experience, please feel free to share, and you can give them a link to your Google My Business page where they can leave a review. And this is wonderful to see when people are searching for a lawyer, but it also helps you in the Google algorithm. And what's nice is also responding back to any reviews, even though, you know, you think you need to respond to the negative reviews, but it's also good to respond to the positive reviews. People do look at this when they're choosing a lawyer, right? And another thing we do as part of our SEO when working with clients is providing an analytics dashboard. So this is kind of a few steps above Google Analytics, which you'd get for free. So this analyzes your traffic on your site, gives you a dashboard and a running tab on like what's happening on the site and how different, you know, how visitors are affected, how many visits you get are affected. And we also bake in Google AdWords results on these dashboards. So that's on another page you can't see here. But keeping track of the numbers is a big part of the SEO, so you know how you're performing. So that's kind of an overview of SEO. I don't know if you guys want to break in, like have any questions at this point, feel free to jump in. Otherwise, I'm going to go right into kind of web development. So assuming that you got found on Google, now you got people to your website, how do we make that website really help generate leads and convert? So first of all, you got to think of your website. It's not just a spoke of the wheel, but it's really the hub of the wheel. Everything is based, all the advertising we do, if we're doing Google advertising, if we're doing social media, posting on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, it's all about driving people back to your website. Your website is the hub. So that's where leads convert. That's where you kind of have the main information about your business. If you're doing email marketing, the idea is kind of driving people back to your website. So first of all, you got to think of your website as the hub. Then when we kind of put together websites, these are sort of the key elements that we've determined that really make a difference in making a website drive leads or not. So first of all, some of the things are what I already told you: SEO, having the keywords and page titles, making sure. Also, one thing I didn't mention is having your address on every page. That can just be on the footer of your website. And also, we have seen that WordPress sites tend to be more effective in ranking for SEO, not because WordPress is necessarily better or worse, but it does have a lot more features to implement SEO quicker and more easily. Some of the other things here are, a lot of law firms will just have like Smith and Smith in the corner as their logo. They won't necessarily put what their specialty is, but putting your actual specialty as part of your logo or right under your logo, having, navigation, that with a clear navigation at the top, having your phone number at the top makes a big difference. Because if you think about it, a lot of people will go on a website from their phone and they won't really have time to read through the whole website. They just want to make a quick call. Having the phone number at their fingertips for those mobile users makes a big difference. Having a photo, usually a photo of your team on the homepage, also is something that we recommend. Having a video, and then I'm going to talk about eBooks and videos, having them on your homepage. Having some kind of easy contact form on your homepage really as well, I find, is a very important factor in helping make that website a lead generator website. So these are just some of the things I think I mentioned. Live chat, again, another really important feature. Anybody here, law firms have live chat on their site now? Feel free to mention. Do you find it's being used more frequently nowadays? Because people go on the website, they really, sometimes, okay, Morgan's got one, they're really ready to talk about their issues and right there. So having that easy access, and a lot of times you don't necessarily have to have someone staffing the live chat. It can be fairly automated and pre-written, because really it's all about something that's going to capture their email and phone number, right? It's almost another type of form. So this is kind of some of the main things you want to have as a checklist for your website. Obviously, it must be mobile responsive nowadays. 40 to 60% of traffic comes from mobile search, and making sure that you have a click to call number on there is really important for the mobile users. Another thing you notice on here is the CTA is the call to action. So having something on the site like, book a consultation, let's get started, so that they're not digging around, for a contact page or how to get in touch with you. It's also kind of tricks the brain a little bit, because like, let's get started, sometimes tells people's brain, when they're passively sifting through information, kind of prompts them to take action a little bit. And it's a little bit of a psychological trigger to help get them to contact you. Trust icons. So if you're part of any associations, I'll show you an example of a trust icon. For Shift Law, he got the top 10 in Canadian Lawyer ranking, I think a couple of years ago. So he's having these little badges does make a big difference. And you can see kind of some of these tips in action on his website with his phone number on the home page, clear call to action with get started and let's connect, a trust symbol, and an easy contact form that pops up when you click get started and let's connect. Another thing we recommend, eBooks. I'm gonna harp on eBooks because we've just seen them be so effective when implemented for our clients. This is an example of another family law firm that has a free guide to divorce. So, you know, here you can see they have an ebook, they have a chat box, they have a consultation form which pops up when you click this. So again, they're kind of building in, you know, almost like a bad way of saying this is like booby trapping your website a little bit to capture visitors, to give them lots of different, not just a contact page, but many different opportunities sprinkled throughout the site for them to engage, for them to download something, for them to chat with you, for them to fill out a form. So kind of having multiple opportunities throughout the site to do that. And on Ken's site, you know, one of the things I recommended when we started working with Ken is like, you know, I think I was talking to you, Ken, I said, Ken, you're this amazing lawyer, you know, but, you know, sometimes people are almost intimidated by amazing lawyers and by super smart lawyers. They tend to see you as an expert. And what do you do with an expert? You kind of put them as at a distance, right? So you want to also like think about that and build up the human relationship factor and play down the intimidation factor, or have a balance of both. Sometimes you want to be a little intimidating. I mean, that's why people hire a lawyer, but you want to have a balance, right? So depending what practice area you're with, especially, you know, in family law, dealing with children or dealing with, you know, disability law, you want to kind of emphasize that you have that compassionate side. So, you know, Ken, I don't know if this picture's still up there, the lovely picture with you and your grandson. So I think that just, again, softening the image and putting videos throughout the site to build up that human connection. This is another lawyer that we work with, Adrian Baker, and kind of cut off here, but he does have his photo on the site. And again, he's in family law. Human connection really matters. And he does have stock photos throughout his site, but we tried to choose very soft ones. They're not like people going like this, you know, they're kind of human looking photos. So just choosing your stock photos very judiciously and not being too cheesy, trying to make them look authentic. And again, he's also got his book a consultation button right on his homepage, which works really well for him. So that's kind of the key factors to have with your website. Are you guys with me so far? Give me a 1 to 10 if this is making sense for you. 10 making so much sense. 1 telling me to like go take a break after this. And awesome. Glad I'm getting a couple 10s. Awesome. So moving on to lead magnets. This is one of my favorite geeky topics here for marketing, because, you know, building in lead magnets is one of those main things that makes your website, makes a difference between just having a general information website that's just a brochure to really having a lead generating website. And how I think of lead magnets is this is a historic icon that the sample lady at Costco. Who likes the sample lady at Costco? I do. She's probably laid off now, long laid off, like all the other sample ladies because of COVID, because this is like the most non-COVID thing you can think of. So this is like a dinosaur picture right now. But the reason I bring this up is the sample lady at Costco is the original lead magnet, because you know, they usually have products that they're promoting. Food companies, other companies pay Costco to do these sample programs, and they usually have products that they're promoting that you never heard of these brands, you've never heard of these foods. There's something novel and new, and the only reason you'll try it is because you're hungry, and you know they're offering it for free, and you're going to get a little bit of a taste of that new, you know, lamb sausage that you never would have bought that day otherwise. But because they're letting you try out that lamb sausage with the fancy mustard, you're likely to pick up a box of the lamb sausage and justify it to your spouse later. So this is what we hope to do. Now let's translate that to how do we do that for law firms? You know, how do we give them a piece of whatever you're offering with your legal expertise? So what we're talking about when they do that is, you know, you obviously don't have hors d'oeuvres, but they're there on your website because they have a problem that they need solved. And you can give them a part of that problem, a part of that solution without having a full consultation with them. You can give them that through an article or a collection of articles in an ebook, or you can give them a tip sheet. You can give them that part of that solution to their pain in a number of different ways. So we'll talk about how to do that and really provide value and build a relationship. And whenever you're doing a lead magnet, the idea is to get their contact information, get their email address through a form, right? So the idea is to get them to sample your service and to understand their value and get a taste while they figure out what they want. Because many times the customer journey from just visiting your website and randomly doing a casual Google search to actually becoming your client might be a very long journey. Like if you think about, you know, when someone, it depends on your practice areas. Let's say someone got injured, or someone's, you know, looking to sue someone, you know, from the time they're casually searching about doing the lawsuit on Google to the time where they'll pick up the phone and actually visit a lawyer or talk to a lawyer might be like 6 months, might be a year sometimes, you know. From the time someone's thinking about divorce to the time they're actually filing for divorce and starting the process might be years. So when they're on your website doing that research, you want to start the relationship even with when they're early on, you know, as they call it, early in the customer journey, or you know, at the top of the funnel, as they say, you know, the bottom of the funnel is them actually becoming your clients. So you get it, you want to build that relationship while they're still figuring out what they want, and be, you know, so that you have a relationship by the time they're at the finish line and ready to become a client. So how do you do that? It starts with kind of thinking about what is your ideal client really looking for when they're going on your website. Yeah, they're probably looking for a lawyer, but what are they really, you know, deep down looking for? You know, they're looking for an ally. They're looking for a specific answer. They're looking for an action step towards solving their problem, right? So how do we make that into a lead magnet? And you know, feel free to chime in here. Sorry, this is like, I gotta unplug my phone when I do these things. Hold on. So, you know, feel free to put in the chat, what do you think, who's your ideal client, and what's the biggest problem they need help with? And that's probably a bigger question. Feel free to write it down for yourself if you don't want to share. But, you know, when we think about what is a lead magnet, it could be, we've really nailed it down to about 6 different things it could be. It could be an ebook you offer about on your site about a specific area of your practice, like, you know, guide to suing your boss, guide to laying off employees, guide to divorce, guide to Henson Trust, as Ken has. So any kind of guide or checklist. It could be a webinar. So, you know, this webinar was a lead magnet for us, to be honest, because we're sharing information here that's giving you guys value, I hope, but judging from all the 10s. So offering a webinar can be a lead magnet. Even doing a quiz or a calculator, and I'll show you some examples of those, can be a lead magnet. Because a lot of times people don't want to do an ebook, but they want that instant answer, like, you know, how much severance if I do, how much disability, you know, benefits do I qualify for? All those little quizzes and calculators where people can get a quick answer are very, very attractive and a good way to generate leads. And videos. So I'll be showing you some examples of those and strategy sessions. So I'll show you examples of all of those that you can have on your site. And I do recommend having at least 2 lead magnets on your website, baking those in. And one of the things we specialize in, of course, is helping create those lead magnets and baking them into your website. So the classic one I always give nowadays is Ken's Henson Trust ebook. And he's got a Formstack form that Kate will talk about later on his website. So this is just a screenshot from his website. And he specializes in Henson trusts, which are an amazing trust and will, I think, that my layman's terms, that you can create for a disabled child in case the parent dies, that provides for their financial needs. So, you know, Henson trusts is something that, like, it's like making a will. People will think about it for years and years before they actually create one. You know, most people, you know, they'll think about creating a will for 10, you know, sometimes 20 years before actually getting to the point of making a will, and sometimes never doing that till you know, they get a disease or something. So again, giving like a guide to estate planning, any kind of guide for whatever they would potentially be talking about, something that it really addresses the burning question. And you know, this can even be something that you have content for already. If you've been creating blog posts, Danielle, feel free to rush me if I gotta get through the rest. I'm looking at the time. So, you know, and losing my mind here, but basically not, you could have a collection of blog posts that could be put together as an ebook. It doesn't have to be long. An ebook can be 5 pages. It could be like 2 blog posts that you've written already. It can be a collection of, you know, sample forms or sample agreements that you've done already. Obviously take off all the confidential stuff, but an ebook doesn't have to be very complex or complicated to put together. The other important element of an ebook is having a landing page form where people download the ebook. So this should have like kind of say what the ebook's about, what they're going to learn out of the ebook, and having a form where people can fill it out. And the form, 2 important things with this form, I don't know if you can see, is of course getting the castle permission, which is yes, I agree to receive electronic communications. That helps get that express consent so you can add them to your email list. And the other thing is asking them if they would like a consultation. Not everyone's going to check this, but I bet in like the ones where we implement this, at least 30% of people check, yes, I'd like information on your legal services. You know, and I'm interested in making an appointment. And that's, you know, that's an easy one that you can hand off when your staff receive this form. Your staff or you will be on the receiving end of this form. That's an automatic lead right there. When you see that 30% of people who fill out that form for the ebook, you know, they're already interested in an appointment with you. So they can be followed up for leads. Oh, I think that was the zoomed in version. I didn't know I had that. So, so that's eBooks. You see lots of examples of eBooks, but I think you guys get the idea. Webinars. We're doing a webinar right now. These are a great lead generator. Just this is an example of a legal webinar on intellectual property law. And, you know, I also recommend doing these on a regular basis. There shouldn't be like eBooks and webinars are fairly easy and quick to implement, as you know, to kind of ramp up your marketing fast. Doing a quiz. So again, we've set these up for clients. These require a little bit more sophistication in terms of kind of thinking through the setup, but this is a personal injury claims quiz. And at the end of the quiz, it kind of tells you whether or not you have a solid case for a personal injury claim. And you can also set all of these forms I'm showing you, I think almost all of them you can, except for maybe the webinar, you can set up with Formstack as well. A severance calculator. So these are really cool. These usually require a programmer to help you set up. But you know, this law firm specializes in labor law, so they actually have a severance pay calculator for Ontario and BC, and it lets you type in, you know, certain numbers, like, you know, your salary, how long you've been working, and generates, you know, an output of like, here's how typically your you know, the severance you can expect. And usually they give a range. And part of the form when you do when you use the calculator online is, of course, they're going to ask you for your name, your email, your phone number, and you're going to give all of that because you want the results of that calculation. So again, this is a way for them to generate leads. And you can bet that once you fill that out, someone from that law firm will call you, or you'll get a follow-up email series saying, hey, we noticed you used our calculator. Is this, you know, is severance pay something you need help with? So again, having that check mark on the form that, yes, I'm interested in an appointment. Offering video training. So this is a lawyer, Terry Huron, and she does a lot of YouTube videos on family law. So offering that, you know, getting comfortable with making videos, it's something that I struggle with too, is a great way to generate leads. And she's got a YouTube channel. There's also a couple examples I found here of DLA Piper, which is a bigger employment law firm, corporate law firm, and they have, you know, once you make a webinar, you can still use that as a lead generator. So they have webinars that they recorded, you know, going back years, but in order to watch those, you actually have to register, and this is their lead form, right? So they're using their past pre-recorded webinars as lead magnets in their website. And finally, I love these as lead magnets. They're not really lead magnets, but they're schedulers. So we've implemented them for a couple clients. We'd love to implement them on every client. We implement them on our own site, and they allow you to book an appointment and schedule an appointment. They're integrated with either Outlook or Google Calendar. And I'll be talking a little bit more about those, but these are an excellent lead magnet because I can't tell you how many for the client. Clinton, feel free to chime in, and how are the lead magnets working without naming the law firm for the clients we've implemented them for? How are they doing with how many appointments are they getting booked on these?
So yeah, for the scheduled ones, we normally get like a little less than 10 for shift. For Ken, it's all in the forms. You know, like
Without
the
naming the
Henson.
firms, by the way.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, for we get around 90 leads on the Henson Trust, like, and yeah, it's like, just depends on which
You're
law
right,
firm.
10.
Yeah, it depends on the law firms, but they get a lot of leads. Yeah, it's difficult to tell,
Yeah.
tell it without, yeah.
So definitely the firms we implement these for get, you know, dozens of leads, and it's also a cost savings because you don't have your administrator, you know, having to go back and forth with that client either on the phone or with email to book an appointment. The calendar's right there. You can also really control the calendar. So I'm just going to show you how these schedulers work. So I'll show you, this is actually a screenshot from my calendar. These are how I get the calendar requests. So in my calendar form, I actually ask people like, what do you want to talk about in your appointment with me? And they say specifically, you know, what they want to talk about. They have their company name on here, and I can really control my calendar. So a lot of people are afraid that they're going to start getting appointments willy-nilly. People are going to start scheduling themselves all over the place, and they're not going to have control of their own schedule. But you can actually control which windows you can control. Like if you just want to have scheduled appointments from your website, you know, 2 hours a week. You can schedule those appointment windows. People will only be able to book 2 hours a week. It also integrates really nicely with, you know, your existing calendar. So even if, you know, you've got 10 to 2 as your appointment window, but you end up getting a dentist appointment at 11 a.m., people won't be able to book you during your dentist appointment because that will be as long as it's blocked off in your regular calendar. So these work really nicely, and I'm a big fan of them. You know, our typical law firm clients see over 25 booked appointments on their systems. So talk to us if you want to implement these. Give me a 1 to 10 so far if this is making sense, and you know, or if you want to tell me what lead magnet you think you want to implement after this. Feel free to name out your favorite lead magnet in the chat. I'll wait for that to show up. And I'm just going to turn this over now that we've talked about lead magnets. The really, the power behind the lead magnet is usually a form. And that's why I'm glad to have Kate with us today to tell us about how Formstack works and how kind of leveraging the power of that technology to really boost the productivity and improve the workflow in your law practice. So Kate, are you able to chime in from here?
Yep, absolutely. If you wouldn't mind going to the next slide, that would be great.
Sure.
Awesome. So this is a basic just understanding of Formstack. I know I briefly mentioned it earlier, but basically at Formstack, we are a one solution platform. So we do have the ability to collect data with forms. We have the ability then to take that data that we've collected with those forms and generate documents. So we see that mainly in the law firm landscape with helping to create different contracts, different agreements, things like that. And I'll kind of show a real life example in here in a second. And then obviously having some of that documentation being sent for signatures and making sure that that is being provided with an audit trail to confirm that, hey, who actually signed it was the one who signed it, and having that proof that we would be able to, present in court and things like that. So with that, we have quite a few different options though within it. So this again, just kind of showing forms, docs, sign. You can utilize all three of those with us. You can utilize just forms, just documents, just sign. We're very versatile based on what you guys are actually needing for your particular law firm. And then I believe the next slide should show some of our integration. So the great thing about this is that we are going to have the most integrations of any other of our competitors on the market. So, whether you guys are working with a specific like law firm tool like a Clio or something like that, we are going to be able to integrate with them to help sometimes pre-fill data so people aren't having to fill it out from scratch, or if, for example, someone comes to your website, they fill it out and you want that information to create an account in a Clio, in a Salesforce, in a HubSpot, whatever tool you are utilizing, we're going to be able to have an integration. We'll actually create that stuff automatically for you. So it's a great way for you not to have to be on the phone, putting in information, then having to go to your system, create that lead again in there. We can just automate that whole process for you. And where we've really seen this come into play, like I said earlier, I work pretty exclusively with law firms at Formstack. So what I've been hearing on the market recently is that, once you are getting information from a potential client, you are then typically utilizing a Word document contract, having to go in, fill in manually all of the different, information like names, making sure you have all the client names, adding and deleting appendices, things like that, which I know can be very time consuming. And so what I'm going to show here right now is basically how we can have a form. It can be filled out. Once that form is filled out, it can automatically generate your contract for you and be sent for signature, all with you just clicking one button. The way I'm going to show you right now is it is going to be like a freestanding form that I have. We can embed this form like you saw with Ken and on his website with the ebook. We can actually embed the form on your website. So someone just fills it in and it starts this process automatically. You guys can actually send a pre-filled link out to some of your clients utilizing information that you have from Clio or from any other system. So you've got tons of options here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. If you don't mind stopping sharing, Adina. Awesome. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is a freestanding form. I do like to show you, if I know we kind of already saw this, if you were to embed your form on a website like this, it will take on the look and feel of your website. And again, with our backend, we do have the ability here to customize your theme, your style, so it will look branded just like you would like. But for example, you can have a form here. You can have the date and time you're going to be going, what the organization is, maybe how much you're charging. And here's where I really like that we've seen this be really successful with law firms is obviously every case is going to be different. Some certain cases you're going to need certain appendices, certain clauses to be involved in the contract. Some of them you might not need. So we can actually set up this document where you can come in here and fill out things saying, do I need additional services? Yes. So then in our backend, it knows to include that clause. You know, is this certain appendix required? No, then it will leave that out. So we can do all of this customization within our system. So then that way, based on one person filling out one form, it can work for quite a few different types of law or contracts that you need generated. And so what I have here is this form is actually linked in our system to a contract. So if I have somebody come in here, they're going to fill out this form. They're going to go ahead and submit the form automatically. I'm going to get a nice message here that says, thank you for submitting the form. This can all be fully customized. So you can say someone will be reaching out to you within 48 hours. This can actually go back to your main website. This can all be fully customized based on what you would like it to say. So now what we're seeing on our back end is here, you can see that this document has been created. You can see here it put the date in automatically. It put in Colorado Title Company. So it's gone ahead here and added in everything that I automatically did. You can see here I said I needed the additional services clause. So that is going to be included as well. And so everything's been updated. What we're not seeing now on the back end is that I have sent this for signature. So I said that this was the information of who needs to sign, and this was also the other information. So it's actually being sent for signature right now. And so if I click here, it'll tell me in my email, hey, this document has been sent for signature. And so we'll let you know once it's been signed. As a potential client, I'm going to be able to get this in my email. It is mobile friendly, so I could sign this on my phone as well. I'm going to be able to come here. I'm going to update. I can see here in my email, it says, please review and sign this document. So now as the client, I'm going to be able to click in here. I'm going to be able to see this document that's been created. I'm going to say, yep, everything looks great. This all makes sense with everything I've said. And I'm going to be able to click here. I can type it out or draw my signature, whichever I'd prefer. And it's going to apply this. Now the client has just signed, but the lawyer still needs to sign. So I'm going to go ahead and submit document. Submit this here. And now you'll say that this is going to be sent to the next person. So if there are, if it's a divorced couple and you're needing it to go to multiple people to sign, we'll be able to do that. You will just set that up all within the back end here. And so it's going to come to my email again to have me sign here. So I'll go ahead and sign this document, pretending I'm the lawyer. So I'll go ahead, review and sign. It's going to populate here. I'm going to click sign in one location. I will sign it. And now once everyone has signed this document that's automatically generated, we're all going to get a PDF finalized copy of it. And that we can have sent to automatically get uploaded back into Clio. So you're not having to then track it down and then re-upload it into Clio or a Salesforce or a Microsoft Dynamics, whatever basically you're utilizing, whatever system, we can set up this automation to then go back in right away. And now here you'll see here is the completely signed document. So everything was generated just from filling out that form. And if we scroll down here, you'll see the signatures. And then if we continue to scroll, you will see this audit trail that will be populated as well. So this is all automatic. And then, like I mentioned, we can have this upload back into our systems, whichever ones those are. So it's very easy, very user friendly. And I will say, if for some reason we don't have a native integration with a system that you're utilizing, we have an open API system, so we can create an integration for almost all systems to make sure that our system talks to that system, to make sure that the information is flowing to help automate that process. So this again was, I know, a quick example, but this is how we've been seeing people are utilizing us for lead intakes, to download eBooks. When that confirmation pops up, someone, that could be the link to the webinar to, join, for the ebook to download, whatever it is. It can very much be customized based on whatever it is that you're looking for. And so that's why our system is so dynamic, because it's used a million different ways based on how you guys would utilize it the best for your system internally. So that's kind of the nitty gritty of Formstack. Obviously, always happy to answer other questions or in email later on after that.
I love how the form basically turns it into a contract right away. I think we're, yeah, so I think that's great. And I'd love to, if anybody wants to implement that, we can definitely explore that with you. We've built lots of pretty complex forms on Formstack. So thanks again, Kate. That's awesome. I'm just going to back to screen share. I know we're hitting our time mark here. So I want to make sure to cover our last part, which is email marketing. And I know a lot of you implement email marketing. A lot of people don't know that it's actually one of the most effective forms of marketing when you compare it to even Facebook advertising or direct mail or paid search, even that I showed you the Google ads. And email marketing is really important for law firms, especially because, like I said, that life cycle and that customer journey. Can you guys see my screen, by the way? I hope I've taken back the screen here. Thank you, Kate. I know you have to jump. And this is a great way, having a regular newsletter, or even offering, once you launch an ebook. This one is again an immigration lawyer, and he launched an ebook called The Foreign Worker's Ultimate Guide to Finding a Job and a Visa Sponsor in the U.S. This is a great way to launch it, is with an email marketing campaign like this. Keeping in touch with clients with an email newsletter is a great way to kind of continue that customer journey and keep that relationship going up to the point when they are ready to buy from you. So, this can have blog posts, it can have articles you write on different topics, it can have promotions for ebooks. Another important point, and this kind of gets into a more advanced area of retargeting, and this funny diagram is like basically the client who visited your site but wasn't ready to call, and this is your regular girlfriend. Really funny diagram, but the point is, you want to get those clients back who visited your site but haven't made taken the action of calling your office, making an appointment, and so forth. How do we get those clients back who visited your site but didn't get to the point where they even downloaded an ebook or contacted your office or started a chat or filled out a contact form? So retargeting is one of the ways. So how retargeting works is we place a piece of code on your website, and once that code is activated, anyone who visits your website can start seeing ads for your law firm, for your law practice on other sites they go to. For example, this is an example with web hosting, that they visited this web hosting company's website. All of a sudden they see ads for web hosting on Yahoo. They might see it on the Toronto Star. They might see it on CNN. Google's got a vast network of millions of websites where they show retargeting ads. And the way this connects to email marketing is, if you have an email list, some lawyers have an email list of 5,000 clients sometimes, of people they've talked to over decades, that many of those people have never contacted them again, and they're wondering how to reach out to them again, and they don't have that CASL express consent permission from them, which is important. Retargeting is a way to get around that a little bit, because you can actually upload an email list and you can start showing ads to those old contacts. The probability of them seeing it is about 60 to 70% that they're going to start seeing the ads, but that's an opportunity for you to kind of get in front of those old clients, even if you don't have express consent to email. So these are some examples of Google display and banner ads that might show as part of a retargeting campaign, but it is something to consider if you're trying to kind of recharge that old email list and re-engage with some of those past contacts to get them aware of your firm again in a more subtle way, and you don't want to email blast them all because you're worried about Castle. So that's kind of an overview of what we do and an overview of, we didn't touch upon every aspect of the marketing wheel, but that's kind of how we get from hope and prayer marketing and spaghetti on the wall, trying random things, to clients on demand and some of the systems we built in. So now turning it back over to you guys, I want to hear from you. What did you learn today? What are your top 3 things that you think you want to implement based on what we've presented to you today? Feel free to type in the chat. Anything new that that anyone's learned? Is email marketing with the retargeting, what I said last, was going to be something you mentioned, or are you going to finally launch that ebook? I think some of what Kate presented in implementing the automated contracts is really cool. So just to recap what we've covered today, kind of talked about the full circle marketing, talked about the different types of lead magnets, the different ways you can automate appointment bookings and even automate contract creation. But how do we actually going to do all this? And are you going to have the time? And would you like some help doing all this? So the good news is we can help. We can help with you with all aspects of what we taught you here today. And what I'm offering to all of you guys is a free strategy session. Look, Travis, my man, you got 3 things to implement: is SEO, lead magnets, and document automation. So definitely happy to talk to you about all of those. I do offer a free strategy session to kind of help you get started and help you kind of process everything that we've taught you here today. So you can actually get onto my automated scheduler if you just go to napkinmarketing.com/apply. If you want to put that in the chat, Danielle, that's where you can schedule your call, and just mention in the scheduler form that we connected through this webinar. And feel free to just contact us. This is our contact info. We'll probably jump on a call with one of our team members or several of our team members to help address your issue. And you can reach us through LegalWerx or Napkin Marketing. And as promised, a couple of resources that can help you here today. If you want to put these in the chat, Leah or Danielle, we've got the most commonly searched keywords for SEO and the law firm digital marketing checklist. So definitely feel free to take advantage of those in helping you get started. And I also wanted to just open this up to Q&A. Any questions, feel free to unmute your mic. Any questions about what you've learned here today? Or can I get a 1 to 10 in terms of the value you've gotten out of today's session? Love to hear from you guys. Give me a 1 if there was nothing new in here today at all, or 10 if there was like tons of new stuff that you're excited to implement. And I think Danielle's got so a lot of people. Okay, awesome. Getting a 10 so far from Travis. Tons of information. Thank you, Melissa. So a lot of people ask me, like, what do we actually do in these strategy sessions? Because everyone knows, a webinar ends with some kind of free offer. And obviously, my naked intentions is to get you all as clients. But a lot of people ask me, like, what do we do as a strategy session? And again, like, as you can see in the webinar, we like to provide a lot of value. We don't like to do a big sales pitch. I'm a really bad salesperson, so I like talking about, real marketing strategies and not just pitching people. So what we actually do in the strategy session is we look at your specific website, and we actually do an SEO analysis of how you're ranking and some identifying like the good things about your site, what you're doing well in your website, but also identifying some of the problem areas and giving you some specific suggestions to improve. And where we go from there is we look at how can we help you in terms of the full circle marketing program. So like I can share more with you on the strategy session, but the way we work with our law firm clients is we basically have we offer a monthly marketing program, and at different prices starting from about, from $1,500 a month and up. And you can either have the basic program where we do everything in the teal right here, which is basically the basic program is focusing on your SEO and focusing on changes to your website to improve your lead flow, to more advanced package, which is growth, where we actually implement everything in the teal plus everything in the pink, which is SEO plus Google advertising and retargeting and improving your landing pages, to the accelerator package where you really want to improve your marketing and play and blast off on all cylinders. And that means everything in the basic and growth plus the accelerator, which includes social media, email marketing, and developing regular lead magnets for you basically every 3 months. So if you want to work with us, we could talk about how we can implement some of these strategies for you depending on what level you're at. And obviously a big part, like I mentioned in the strategy session, is we look at your specific website and see kind of where you're at in terms of your website, where you're at in terms of your SEO, and where do you want to go. So if you want to grow to grow your client base from 50 clients to 200, we look at what are the levers to get you there. So feel free to, have you ever worked with a firm that already has a web marketing team? Yeah, definitely. A lot of our clients have worked with agencies before or have an internal team. So how that works is a lot of times they'll have someone on their team who's also doing, maybe there's somebody already doing their Google advertising, and then we focus on the SEO. So definitely all of those packages I just showed you can be customized to the client. So if you want us just to focus on SEO and somebody on your team is focused on the Google advertising, we can work that way. Or if it all just depends on how you work, and I just need to know a little bit more about that. So, but definitely we're very customizable. Any other questions on any other questions what we've shared today? Okay, perfect. Well, I think I've taken up a lot of your time. We've gone over time here today. I meant to finish 10 minutes ago, so sorry about that. But thank you again so much for your attention today. I know how busy schedules law practices have, so we really value you joining us today. And we'll be following up soon with all the resources, and really appreciate every single one of you and joining us. Thank you so much for making this a success. Okay, have a great day, have a great afternoon, and almost great week. It feels like a Friday. Have a great weekend starting tomorrow. Okay, thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.